Hey, it's Les from the TV Dudes. This week, we're going to kick things off with a special performance. Here's Dez Duron singing Why Love from the cast recording of Maybe Happy Ending. Dez is a singer and actor you may recognize from season 3 of The Voice. Now, he's making his Broadway debut, starring alongside Darren, Criss, and Helen Shen in the critically acclaimed musical Maybe Happy Ending. Dez plays Gil Brentley, a smooth, fictional jazz singer whose songs echo the love story at the heart of the show. Critics are raving. The production's been named Best Theater of 2024 by New York Times, The Wall Street Journal, The Washington Post, and more. Entertainment Weekly calls Dez a captivating stage presence, and The Guardian dubbed him a dashing daydream. Let's take a listen, and then we'll sit down with Dez himself.
Why did we bother to try love? Why did we foolishly stop to say hello instead of going our way? But your heart was free and mine was on my sleeve. Were we brave or were we just naive? So tell me why love, when all things end in goodbye love. Why did we dream that this fate would not be ours, when even stars up above ask where they glow, and love lasts one moment, and then that final task to sigh and ask why love.
Hey, Dez.
How's it going?
Going great.
Good.
Man, I really appreciate you making time today. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. It's an honor to be asked.
So I grew up in Paris, Texas, so I know exactly where Shreveport is.
No way.
Yeah, I guess it's Texas close, like between 2 and 3 hours. That's a drive you could make a day trip of, but you should plan it. Like I've definitely known people who've walked out of a keg party and gone, "We're going to the boats." Oh, God.
Right. Exactly.
Uh,
I feel like we are like East Texas, like small Vegas. Like
Yeah.
everybody just comes to like gamble and get out.
right. I think people don't understand quite how it's like the third biggest city in Louisiana, I think. Uh, but yeah,
Yeah. Third biggest, I think.
I remember watching True Blood, and they go to a vampire club in Fangtasia's in Shreveport, and I mean, barked laughter. Like the whole room watching with me was like, "What?" I'm like, man, that's exactly the club that I could see being. That's amazing.
Right. That was for a while when I lived in LA. Everyone, I guess it was True Blood time, and everyone was like, anytime I said True Blood, they're like, True Blood. I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. Okay.
Right. I don't know how Bon Toms operates. Oh,
Right.
man. Well, thank you so much for making time. I'm looking forward to chatting with you. So I know you're growing up in Shreveport, house full of siblings.
Yeah.
Were you the kid in junior high with the Yale pennants on your wall? Did you always want to do Yale?
No, actually, it wasn't until it was kind of a strange happening. I always worked really hard in school, and then just I honestly, growing up, it was always like I'm gonna graduate high school and go straight into music. Like I'm gonna leave and go to LA. For two reasons, just like watching too much VH1, and two because growing up there was this drama teacher at our high school who I was kind of like I was always like the kid that they casted at the high school productions, and she was involved in our church, and I just like loved her. She's one of the reasons I love musicals. Her name was Barbara Graham, and her kind of approach was that it was like you just go to New York or LA and you like figure it out. And then when I got to high school, it was kind of occurred to me like I should go to college. Like I'm going to college. Like no one has discovered me singing down the halls of Walmart, so I should like go get a degree. And so I just randomly was like, I want to go Ivy. So like my sophomore year, I started like any questionnaire that said like, where do you see yourself in 5 years, or like different things for the school, I would always write like playing quarterback for the Crimson Knights at Harvard, or I'd write like at Yale studying economics. And my brother-in-law came back from like this is a longer story than needed, but he came back from like a private school that he was coaching football at, and he said a great way to get into these schools is athletics. So kind of starting my sophomore year, I really like gave myself to football and kept my grades up as well and test scores, and then just applied to like a lot of the Ivies. I actually only applied to Yale because that's just who I chose to go with, because I was recruited by a few teams in the Ivies. But yeah, it's just kind of something I just wanted to do. I don't know really why that popped in my head, but it did.
Weirdly, you were the second Yale quarterback that I've interviewed.
Really?
Yeah, I interviewed Rich Ting, who's class of '02, I think.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
a few years ago. He's a great guy. He was really nice.
Cool.
But it's just odd. Yeah, weird
Yeah.
coincidences that happen. Like, how are there this many Yale football players running around y'all's industry? Uh, so you do 2 years at Yale, and then did you drop out of college for The Voice? Am I getting that right?
Yeah, I mean, it was to tell a
How
long story
scary was
short,
that?
it was really scary. I will say at first it was just taking a semester off. So when I went to go do it that first time, you at Yale you get 2 semesters you can just take off to go like study things independently or do what you want, and then you come back as if you never left. There's no
That's
like
cool.
formal
Sabbatical.
process that
Yeah.
I can. Yeah, yeah. And so I was originally just doing that. It was still scary just because like I wouldn't graduate with my class, and I knew it was going to be on television. And like
Right.
if I didn't make it and I like come back to school, like how embarrassing would that be? And there were embarrassing moments that happened because of that. But yeah, I was pursuing music though still. I made like a demo when I was like 18 of me doing like, so not Sinatra covers, but like we did like fully produced like the Very Thought of You and Smile by Nat King
Mhm.
Cole, and then this other song my friend wrote, and we were shopping it around trying to kind of get labels. And this producer wanted to do a production deal on me, and I was going to drop out for that. And then a friend kind of read the contract, and it wasn't great, and then kind of got management and an agent um, at the end of my freshman year. And then at the beginning of my junior year, yeah, they just called me and they said there's this new show called The Voice. It would have been They had just done the first season. And I was at football camp, and so that night I just watched. It was a short season. I watched all of season
Mhm.
one, and then I flew out the next day to do like the first audition for The Voice. They were like kind of at the tail end of casting season two, and I think they thought like it was going to be like the Kelly Clarkson season.
Mhm.
You know, they were pumping a lot of money into it as far as just wanting it to be the first season that they made a star.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and so it was really nerve wracking. The scarier thing probably was I stayed another semester just to learn the music industry, and at the end of that, in that summer, I got a call from casting, and they asked me to come do season three. Um, and so if I did that, I had to drop out.
Yeah. At that point, you've used your
Right,
two
two
semesters.
semesters, and I had to, and which you could still come back. It's not like the end of the world,
Right.
but
But
it
it
just
wouldn't just be
felt.
a as if nothing happened. Yeah.
Yeah,
You'd be
I would
re-enrolling.
have had to like go to a different school and get 2 credits, and then come in and like prove that I could keep up still, and
Mm.
it was like a whole thing. So it was like really weird. You have to write a handwritten letter, and then like scan it and like send it to them. Like I would like to drop out of Yale, like, and then sign it, Dez. So it's like a very like emotional. It was very emotional for me,
Wow.
for sure.
Man, I didn't know either of those. I didn't know and love the 2 semester off thing. That's awesome. But
Yeah,
also I, I kind of love the personal, like, no, write it down in
yeah,
your
like
own hand. Like,
yeah, you have to really, and that might
you got
not
to
be the case
mean.
anymore, but yeah, I had that paper framed for a long time.
Yeah,
Um,
I could see that.
yeah, just to kind of push myself. I'm glad I actually don't have it around anymore, but because I think it probably put more pressure on me than I needed. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, I loved Yale for the record. I loved it. There's people from all over the world, all different walks of life, all different interests. They're all. I loved it. I loved my teachers. I loved the dean that kind of advised me to go do the voice in the first
Hmm.
place. Yeah, I think they want the best for their students, and it was really cool to be a part of.
And it's got to be hard to weigh opportunities that can feel emotional, but you've got to kind of look at what can I do later, what is only now, uh, what's of the moment. Uh,
Yeah,
but it's still
yeah. I
it's
think
scary to change your
stepping
life.
out. I think the initial one was probably I was a little more clear-headed, even though it was more emotional, the actual dropping out. But I was a little more clear-headed when I was outside of kind of the institution. I think when you're in Yale, there's a lot of like striving to feel like you belong and prove that you're smart enough and like that you should have gotten in. And then you can kind of like lose why you're there, which is
Hmm.
like to prepare yourself for your future. You're not there to like prove you're a Yaley.
Yeah.
You're there to like prepare for something in the future. And I think I kind of realized like I don't want to I don't want to go into more debt and then have to do the investment
Right.
banker thing, which tons of my friends have done, and I think it's great. But I just knew that wasn't the path that I wanted to take. So I think that made that decision a little more clear headed than the initial one was, which was like, I'm leaving my friends, I'm leaving my life, I'm moving across the country. Like, what am I doing? So yeah, I don't know.
So going from that to maybe happy ending, and I realize we're really here to talk about the cast recording and maybe
Yeah.
happy ending. And I've spent so much time talking to you about Yale. Um, how was it getting? How did you get into that audition process, and what was it like getting the role of Gil?
Yeah, I moved to New York in 2016. Broadway is always something I wanted to be a part of. I am a baritone, so it's not like those parts for people my age are like very numerous. So
Hmm.
I'm glad one more exists in Gil. I'm proud to be a part of that. And I was auditioned for a lot of things and had like a lot of close calls as the stories go.
Hmm.
And did a couple like workshops and local things. And then this audition came across us like bring your book, bring all the Sinatra songs you know and all the American Songbook songs you know.
Right?
And I kind of was like, okay, this is it. Like this is mine. Like I have to get
Yeah.
this because that's the songs I sing and the songs I love. And so yeah, I went into the audition and really didn't know much about what the show was about um, until I got to Atlanta. And then I was really blown away by the script. I was incredibly emotional the first
Hmm.
read through, which is kind of the case every iteration that I've done of this. The first read through is intensely emotional for everybody around the table that's hearing the story for the first time or hearing the story through read through with acting for the first
Hmm.
time in a while. It always hits us fresh, and so just fell in love with the show and really fell in love with the songs as my characters mainly singing. So I thought they sounded like real standards. I called my family was like these guys have written real standards. Like
Yeah.
they it sounds like I'm covering someone else's
Like
music.
Why Love is just beautiful. Like, we're gonna play it before the interview here, so folks will have just heard it. But
Yeah,
what a great song, and to be reprised. I like the bonus track that's on the cast recording as well,
yeah,
1948. Uh, the the entire behind the scenes of this production is nuts. I think everybody in the credits, starts with and Tony Award winning
yeah.
costume designer, but director, whatever. Uh, and then Darren, Criss, and Helen, Shen. Can you talk about stepping into you talked a little bit about that feeling at Yale or any Ivy of like I need to prove that I deserved to be here. Was that a similar pressure when you looked around at a table read and went, holy shit?
Yeah, I mean, it is incredible. I mean, I think I mainly just felt gratitude. By the time we got to Broadway, I'd been a part of the process for so long.
Yeah.
By that point, it had been 5 years of me
Oh.
doing it, and everybody was really kind right out the gate when the cast got announced. Darren texted me a really nice text. I hadn't even met him yet, but just kind of like, hey man, I've watched the show on video and I was hoping it would be you in the Broadway thing. So just I felt welcome immediately. And Helen has such a warm, genuine presence. We hit it off immediately. And then Michael, just having known him for 5 years, I think way more. I felt that way more in Atlanta. It was my first equity contract, and I think just working with Michael, I had seen his. We met at the opening party of Once on This Island,
Okay.
and so I had seen his work. I've seen Parade. I am such a fan and think he's an absolute genius. So it's like an interesting thing working with someone whose opinion you take as Bible, you know what I mean? So like you just hope that their opinion is good of you. But I think just like the fact that I kept getting called back for workshops and readings kind of built that confidence, and Michael speaking that confidence into me was super super comforting by the time I came to Broadway. And it's a funny thing because I think I was starting to feel that way. And then I found the day before I moved out of my Nashville apartment, I found my journal from Atlanta. And I kind of always look back on that as like this very joyful, like everything about it was pleasant. And I read my journal and I was dealing with intense insecurity and like intense, like, I don't think they like me. I don't think I belong here. And then to find out it was kind of all delusion, kind of set me free and was like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to feel that way ever again. Like I'm going to focus on doing the work and not let my imposter syndrome like sabotage this incredible experience. So yeah.
And experiences like that, I think, are why people get told to journal. I mean, that's the thing you hope happens when you look back on your journals, right?
Exactly.
Some kind of
Exactly.
revelation like that. Yeah.
Yes. So it's super helpful. It just allowed me to come in and like, I'm just grateful to be part of this work. I'm grateful to have a director that I don't doubt his taste even at all. It made my job so easy. If he says to do something, I know it's the right move because I respect his taste so much. And then to have a cast that I just felt so confident that they were capable. These are like Herculean feats, like these two roles in the leads. Like it's very tough technically. You're on stage pretty much the entire time. There's a lot of dialogue and world specific dialogue. There's a lot of prop moving things happening really quick. And it kind of leans on them as far as whether it's successful or not. You know, it's a really like there's a line drawn between it being corny and it being heartfelt and earnest.
Right.
And so I think they have done such a good job, and I'm so so grateful for them. Yeah, so I feel grateful. Yeah.
In terms of recording the cast album, is that a wildly different experience than the way that does that ever feel weird compared to how you practiced to sing it to the, back row of seats and now you're recording in
Yeah,
front of booth?
I think it was just different. Like one, you can just hear yourself so much better. The monitor system in Broadway is much different than having in-ears, which is how I usually sing in like my concerts and stuff.
Mhm.
And then just the pressure of it lasting forever is very real and present. But yeah, and I think I always have to remind myself before shows, like I'm going to write it on my mirror on like a post-it note, like you have a mic. I think you see a big, huge theater and you're like, I have to fill this room up. There's like a temptation to feel like I have to like,
Felt it. Yeah.
yeah, belt it. And it's like, no, you have a mic. This is 2025. Like there's
Right.
so much technology, like just sing it how you would in a studio. So it was nice to be in a studio and be like, not even have to like fight that instinct and just have it be a really intimate experience. And it's also great to have Deborah in the room and Will and Hugh, our music supervisor and the writers. I love notes from them. It allows me to like look at the song more specifically. I think singing something over and over and over again, you can start to just see it as a big blob of a song rather than
Mhm.
like unique like lyrics and wonderful intervals that these melodies have. So it was cool to like revisit and like remember like how much I love each part of this song, and then just to explore like different things. It actually helped me in the show a lot. It was like a really great refresher, and also just finding the personality of Gil and how you want it to be remembered forever. It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking, man, there's somebody out there, there's some kid out there who loves singing that's got cast albums for all the classics, and you added to that stack.
That's crazy.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah, it's wild.
Well, thank you for talking to me about it all today. This is a lot of fun. Really love chatting with you. I love the songs.
Thank you.
Folks can go hear the cast recording now. I think that came out on March 14th, and they can pre-order vinyl for it, I believe, as well.
Vinyl and CD, and it's streaming everywhere that music plays. So yeah, check it out.
Well, thank you again. Have a great rest of your day. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Les. All right, bye.
TV Dudes is an independently run podcast out of Austin, Texas. We are exclusively listener supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/TVDudes.
You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TV Dudes. All the music for our show is done by our friend and original TV Dude, Gregory J. Amani Smith.
To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com. I'm Randy Lander.
I'm Les Weiler.
And I'm Kyle Scott.
Thanks for listening.